All right, Jarl of Goats here with Crit Crusaders, and thank you very much for joining us for our Session 0 of Star Wars Tides of Change, Ashes to Ashes. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good. Great.
All right, well, as you may notice in one of the corners of the webcam, one of our players, Slacker Z, who plays Damn Jam, he was unable to make it, but his son's birthday was today, and because of conflicts with IRL games that we all have, we decided to proceed with the Session 0, and he's going to catch back up with us on Session 1. So, Chris, our thoughts are with you. Thank you very much for all your contributions thus far. Let's go ahead around the table. Archie, how you doing? And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
What's up, y'all? My name's Archie. From Houston, Texas. Do a little bit of gaming here on YouTube, RPGs, stuff off my PlayStation. That's about it. I'm happy and excited to get into this game and have some good gameplay here, which I'll get some good roleplay on.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
In fact, we've actually been preparing all week, so there's a lot of us who are just like, hee, can't wait. All right, and now we're going to go over to Nate. Nate, how's it going today?
It's going well. I am a... yeah, I think that you could say I game professionally. I do everything. Been in the video games and console games and PC games and then tabletop board games. Yeah, this is... I've been with the Tides of Change now for coming on about 9 months, maybe 10. So, looking forward to it.
Wow, we got us a vet. Yeah, I've been with him a little bit longer than that, so I know how you feel. I've been excited. And as you all may notice, this is not Google Hangouts, which is the traditional meeting place of the game, and that's because Google hates me and my account doesn't work. In fact, during the last Brigade Con, I got booted several times, even though I was running the game. So we are doing an alternative venue so that I can actually participate. And last but definitely not least, we have Tom. Tom, how's it going?
It's going good, fellas. Yeah, I'm Tom. I live in upstate New York here. Been with Tides of Change for maybe about 9 months. Haven't been in the Edge of the Empire game in a few months here, so a little bit rusty, but looking forward to things. Yeah, can't wait.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And as always, guys, some of these folks have a YouTube channel. Some of them don't. If they do have a YouTube channel, I encourage everyone in the group to go and show their support by subscribing to the channels. You know, I definitely do that every time I can. I try to subscribe to any of the channels that I watch, and I definitely want to throw that out there. And all that information will be at the end. But let us cut into the game. Now, before I start anything, and before I forget, we need to roll for Destiny. So, somebody...
Destiny.
Now,
Destiny. What are you talking about?
yeah, come on. We got to get our force points. Now, in order to do that effectively, since we are using Roll20 and not all of the players are used to that, you open up your character sheet and it says Roll Destiny. If it gives you an error, it's because we have to sync by pool with me, but I don't think it will. So, let's go ahead and see what we've got. I'm feeling the love. We have a really we have a really small pool here. Let me actually just clear out the pool here and make sure everything's correct.
Three.
One light. Oh yeah, click sync here. I'll force the player update. There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we've got.
Press buttons
You're welcome, guys.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, feel free to spin that right away. I don't mind at all. All right, so we're going to actually take this in the traditional Star Wars style. It has been 3 months since the destruction of the second Death Star outside the planet of Endor. The Imperial Remnant is fleeing from the Rebel fleet as they try to grasp whatever strategic advantage they have. The Rebel fleet is stretched. They spread out really thin. Supply lines are cut, and they're having a hard time keeping after the Imperials and making sure that the majority of the Imperial fleet is put down. Unfortunately for a lot of the planets, this means new regimes, riots, looting, unrest. Everybody's excited to be rid of the Empire, and they're excited for this new Republic order just to appear out of thin air, but it doesn't work like that. It takes time. Citizens of Coruscant are seen dragging Imperial loyalists out of their homes into the street and murdering them in cold blood right out in the open, in front of children, in front of everybody. There's no prejudice. Meanwhile, on the Outer Rim, Jabba the Hutt is dead. Leia killed him, and now all of the other Hutts and all of the other gangsters and all of the other rival pirate bands have been vying for a seat of authority in the Outer Rim. To say that the galaxy is in turmoil is an understatement. I would actually go as far to say that this is the most turmoil the galaxy has been since the Clone Wars. But progress is being made. Little by little, rebel supporters infiltrate planets and convince a resistance to form against the Moffs that still run them. You hear every day on the news about how a planet has freed its Imperial bonds, but it seems like the following week you hear about how that planet's running out of resources, having a problem with unrest. There is no law. And that's where men like Cooper come from. Cooper Madrid owns a company called Cooper Shipping. He's got 3 space stations, one in the Outer Rim, one near the Wheel, and one bordering a gas giant within a day's jump of Coruscant. He is actually was 21 when the war in the in the Clone Wars had started, and he was a young entrepreneur that developed many relationships early on and saw a lot of his alien partners either exterminated, thrown out of business, or sent to detainment camps by the Empire. He has no love for the Empire, and he had no love for the Old Republic. He has hopes that this new Republic will reform everything, but until that happens, he's not putting any bets on it. Instead, he tries to make the galaxy better in any way that he can. One way is he employs anybody, no matter their race, no matter their background. As long as they keep the peace, and as long as they're honorable, and as long as they care about the welfare of the galaxy, they can work for him. And by working for him, he offers them a cushy place to stay, a lot like a condominium. He offers them food and lodging. He offers them medical benefits. He offers them a new future that is secluded from the terrors that permeate throughout the galaxy. One such space station is Paradise, bordering that gas giant outside of Coruscant. It's got a large ring around it that has its own atmosphere and its own planetary-like world built onto it. There's only 6,000 people that live on this little ring, but it's home. It's also one of the largest space stations in the core worlds. Yet nobody actually goes there unless they are working with the Cooper Industries. The only time people ever deal with Cooper associates at a Cooper station is either outside the Wheel or in the Outer Rim. Nobody knows the location to this base, except for our players. Our heroes have lived here for quite a while, and they've become somewhat of a motley crew, doing jobs for Cooper, anywhere from delivering medical supplies or foodstuffs to planets that don't have any, to stealing equipment and bringing it back so that it could be reappropriated to people that need it the most. And that's where we're going to start. Who would like to introduce their character first? And I'd like to know, what are you doing? What's your profession? And how are you feeling right now? Oh, Thomas, I think you're muted. There we go, sorry.
All right, there we go. I'll be playing Grad Haha Lee. He's a Tagruta thief. He's into all the stealth stuff, underworld contacts. Even though crime is not a big thing under Cooper, Cooper still likes to have the contacts, you know, the underworld contacts, because he is a trader, you know, and, you know, trading in the Outer Rim, you got to have the underworld contacts, and that's what Grad is bringing to the table here.
Yeah, and I imagine since Cooper has such a strong belief in employing anybody, despite their past, kind of like this is your chance. I'm going to clean your slate. You're going to start fresh. You serve me now. But let's use your abilities to the best of my ability, because he is a businessman. He's very cunning, so I can absolutely imagine that.
Yeah, that's...
Tom, why don't you describe where Grodd stays?
Grad is staying. He's pretty much 100% bachelor. He's got a little bachelor pad, probably in the middle of the space station near the engines, near the bars and the alleys and the seedier side of the space station. Yeah, as of the beginning of our episode here, I'd imagine Grad is probably waking up after a bender. They probably got back off their last mission, and he spent it in the local brothel or bar, drinking the time away.
Do you drink alone, or are you pretty social with the others who are in this kind of bar? The bar, by the way, being a very kind of scathy place where a lot of the underworld of the city lives. Neon lights, strippers. It's a very dark place to be.
I imagine Grad either he drinks by himself or with others. It doesn't matter.
All right. So, Grad, your eyes kind of flutter open. Your room is hot from the humidity of the engines and the coolant. And artificial light kind of shines through one of the windows as you hear the soft snoring of another individual inside your living space.
And Grad would probably roll over, open up his eyes, and what does he see?
As you roll over, the clinking of empty bottles falls off of the side of your bed and lands onto the floor, causing almost a musical wind chime effect. And you look over and you see a buddy that you oftentimes gamble with and you spend time with laying face first on your floor, sleeping, passed out, with a half-full bottle of alcohol in his hand.
So I would know he would be a buddy. I would know who it is right away, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. What's my buddy's name?
Your buddy's name is Grick. He's a Rhodian.
All right. So I'll kick Grick and I'll say, Grick, get up.
He doesn't move. He's just still sleeping. He's pretty out of it.
All right. Well, then I'll probably get up, throw some clothes on, or I imagine I probably still have them on. And,
yeah, you're fully dressed.
Yeah. Take a swig of the dog that bit me and, kind of get ready for the day here.
It looks like your bottle is empty, but Grick does have a half-full bottle in his hand.
I'll take Grick's bottle and take a swig.
All right, you pry it from his hand. His suction cup fingers are like as you alleviate it. Luckily, it's cooler enough along the plating of the floor that it's not warm or anything. And yeah, you take a swig.
And I'll probably get on my comm link and shout out to. Would he know that Damn Jam was sent away already, or?
No, and actually you probably wouldn't be able to reach him with your comm link because there's so many communications down here and all of the plating. But
right.
You do have a data pad or a laptop-like computer sitting on a table. Since you work with Cooper, it was assigned to you. So I imagine in this bachelor pad with all these bottles everywhere, it'd be like seeing a really nice Mac sitting over on the table.
Well, I would probably contact my my compadres there somehow through whichever means I could do it. Kind of send a message out like, what's the plan for today?
All right, so we're going to cut over to Nate. Nate, let's introduce your character. Explain to me where he lives and what is he doing right now on this early morning.
I'm playing Vitar Clint. At least that's what everybody else knows him by. Vitar doesn't sleep much due to his special nature. He's actually in the bowels of the space station is where he's currently residing. He has a technician shop down there. Works amongst a number of other mechanics. More than likely, he's fiddling with some new gadget, trying to figure out how it works.
Do you share a shop, or do you have your own shop?
Well, he would have his own shop just for the sake of anonymity. Vitar isn't. What's the best way to put it? He's kind of high on the wanted criminal list.
Oh, okay. So he's hiding from everybody.
Yeah, he tries to keep a low profile as much as the time. And that's the reason why Vitar may not actually be his real name. He maintains a number of aliases and identities. So, yeah. And if Grodd is attempting to contact him, then it would probably register across his data feed on his that's implanted in his arm.
So he's got implants in his arm. He probably doesn't have an actual computer in his shop, or
no, everything's pretty much on person.
Like a Pit Boy almost.
Yeah, if you want to go Pit Boy route, we can go with Pit Boy.
Yeah, so your little audio blip kind of goes bloop, letting you know that you are receiving contact.
So Vitar sets down his tools, pushes them off to the side, and pulls a cable from his wrist and plugs it into a vid screen so that he can see what's coming through.
The vid screen planted on the wall looks like it was built out of scavenged parts from multiple devices, and it flickers to life, and you see the red and white face of a horned Grodd sitting before you, who, with the sags under his eyes, probably looks like he's had better nights.
What time is it, Grodd? What are you doing?
You should have been there last night, Vitar. It was a good time. You need to come out with us one night.
As soon as Grodd says us, you see this Rhodian going, chuta, and he sits up and then, like, plants himself on Grodd's bed and is just rubbing his antennae.
Well, anyways, what's up for today?
I don't know. I'm up to the usual. And Vitar grabs the item he's working on and is like, see? And he puts it back down on the desk.
You're too uptight with those things. You need to loosen up once in a while.
Yeah, the last time I loosened up with you, I had to drag you out of the bar.
Yeah, but you had a good time.
No.
Well, I had a good time. That's all that matters.
Yeah, what you remember of it, you had a good time.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah, I have no idea. Have you heard something?
Nothing yet.
I'm about due to leave the shop anyway. We need to go somewhere.
All right, let's get a hold of here and see what he's got going on. He's usually the one with all the plans.
So the scene does that classic Star Wars wipe where the camera just slides up, and a sleeping here is seen in a bedroom. Would you say this is a finer establishment?
Most assuredly, for sure, 100%.
Excellent. We're going to say that as you're sleeping, the shapely shadow of a female casts over your bed, and very softly you hear, "Here, it's time to wake up."
come back to bed.
She kind of puts her hands on her hips and smiles, and she's like, haven't you had enough? Listen, it's time to get up. Cooper needs you.
All right, as you wish, dear. As you wish. So I'll start getting up, getting my stuff together, put my clothes back on.
She kind of steps forward and helps you, like just handing you your clothes and stuff like that. And then in her hand, she's got a hot cup of tea. And she smiles and kisses your cheek softly and whispers, "Oh, okay." So she smiles. "You devil," she says. And she's a Twi'lek, and she kind of pulls her Leku back and stretches a bit, and she says, "When you get back from this mission, I have a very important surprise to tell you."
Well, then I hope the mission goes quick and smooth, so I can be back in your arms, my love.
She nods and then hands you a data pad, and she says, "From the way Cooper had very hastily informed me, you might want to gather the others." And then she turns on her heel and walks out of the room and leaves you to your business.
Okay, so yeah, I'll finish getting my clothes on. I wear very fine, basically what you would imagine of like a senator or someone like that, what they would wear. Sort of robes that command respect is what I wear, as does my countenance. I'm a human, about 6, maybe 6'2", around there. I have long, dark hair that I keep pulled back tight, and I'm clean shaven. I have gray eyes, very piercing. And I take the data pad that she gave me, which is my personal data pad, and I tuck it into the custom slit I have in my robes to house it. I get my comm link, and I start heading off towards the ship as I peruse through the writing and stuff that I have from Cooper to find out what the mission is about.
Surprisingly, there is no information at all. It is just a formal request of your attendance over at Cooper's palace. And as you step out the main door and you enter the living space, you see that Asha's blue Twi'lek form is sitting on a couch, and she's watching TV, and she's got her hand over her mouth, and she's like, "Oh my God, how terrible."
What is it, dear? What's going on?
She motions to the screen in front of her, and right in front of her, there's a footage of a Moff who has been gutted and hung outside his palace, and a huge, thick wall of stormtroopers is pushing an angry crowd back. Blaster fire on all of the surrounding walls, and the news reporters, "This just in. Turmoil again as governments are being cast down with angry mobs filling the streets. Will there ever be peace in the galaxy again? What has that vile rebellion done to us now?" And then the screen cuts out. She just holds her hands up, tosses a remote down, and she's like, I can't listen to this.
So would I know that that's like, the standard stock, Moth dead, or is that like just a new occurrence that happened just recently? Like that's the first images coming out of this new thing that just went down.
That's a good question, actually. This is the first time that a Moff has been terminated. Normally it's stormtroopers, maybe an official, but this is the first time that a mob has been so angry that they've been able to rabble around the defenses of a Moff and take him down.
Okay, so my character, I have real mixed feelings about this because, I have no real love for the Empire. I pretty much despise them, but, I also have a respect for life, and I hate to see somebody just get disemboweled like that. So, I take a moment, I kind of compose myself, and I'll I'll go to my wife and I'll take her in my arms and I'll say, it's all right, dear. We're safe here, and all we can do is work to make things better, like we do. And I'll just kind of hold her for a moment there and just, console her from this tragedy that we just witnessed.
She rests her head on your chest, and for the longest time, the embrace seems like it could last forever, and the two of you would be content with its sincerity and its peacefulness, when all of a sudden your data pad beeps, and it beeps in a certain tone that you've kind of established as your crew trying to reach you.
Okay, so I'll kiss her forehead and I'll politely extricate myself from the hug, and I'll say, "Duty calls, love. I guess I'm off to it now."
She quietly nods and goes back into the kitchen, trying to see if she could find the appetite to eat, when Grodd's face appears on your data pad alongside with Viatar's next to it, kind of like a split call.
Greetings, friends. Have you heard word from Cooper yet?
No, we haven't. That's why we're getting a hold of you. We're just wondering the same thing.
Asha did tell me that he's requested an audience, so perhaps we should meet outside of his office and we'll go in together.
All right.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, so the group of you unite, another wipe of the screen, as you're standing outside Cooper's senatorial tower. The guards there are lightly armed. There's not a whole lot of security in this place, especially since it's so secluded and nobody knows where it is. There really isn't too much of a threat, and if there is a threat, it's going to be an internal threat. As you guys approach the tower, here is waiting for you. He was dropped off by one of the taxis that kind of sped off right before you guys got there. And the three of you are present before the tower. Which, by the way, you guys have been comfortable enough that you could just walk right in. You don't have to talk to the guards.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, he didn't say anything about what it was you were meeting for, did he?
Unfortunately not. There was nothing.
I don't think he ever says. He just says, "Come," and we come.
Oh.
That's the trust the man has gained. We must afford him that.
Yeah, fine. Vitar is quickly scanning the surroundings.
By the way, has anybody heard from Dam Jam?
No, I'm surprised he didn't contact me with you. Was he not at the bar last night?
No, I didn't see him. I tried to contact him. He was on the call, but he didn't answer.
I hope everything's all right.
Well, I think we're about to find out.
Let's not dally anymore. Let us go.
You guys approach the tower. The front doors are open. They're actually thick blast doors, but he takes the open door policy literally. And there's two guards posted on the outside, two guards posted on the inside. They're both armed with... they've got decorative vibro swords on their belts, and they have blaster rifles. Not every guard is decorated with a vibro sword and a blaster rifle, but most of the palace guards are. And as you enter the main establishment, you realize where his idea of nobility and luxury and wealth blends with his idea of corporate business. Because the moment that you walk in, there's a bunch of chairs like a waiting room, and there's a secretary sitting in front of you with this giant vid screen behind her, flashing the logo of Cooper Industries, 5 towers stretching up to the heavens with a green orb rotating around it, creating a ring like Saturn. And you even hear like a very sultry female voice who's like, "Cooper Industries, leaders in innovation, technology, trade, and unity. The galaxy need not any more." And then the advertisement kind of flickers off and starts replaying. You see a bunch of corporate advertisements, like a new soft drink called Bantha Bibble. And they're like, get Bantha Bibble today! It's not a trap! And, that's kind of like the marketing material that they're going for. And as you approach the counter, the secretary lifts her head up, and you see a very, very beautiful human standing there, of course. And behind her are several black protocol droids, with the exception of one protocol droid that has been in Cooper's employ since the Clone Wars, who's very rusty, patchy. He's got red pieces, gray pieces, a silver head, and the silver head has a dent right in the middle of it, which is where he gets his name Dent. And he's kind of standing there at attention, and she pokes her head up and sees you guys arrive, and she's like, "Ah, good, you're here." And she reaches under the counter and pulls out a paper slip, and then slides it across, well, I guess it's a plastic slip, slides it across the table towards you guys. And she's like, "Cooper is upstairs. He says you must go up immediately. This is the details to the new job."
Yeah, I'll take it and give it to Vitar.
Oh, what was that, Nate?
I'm sitting there trying to read it before it gets to me.
All right, actually, let's make a roll for that. I want to see how fast. What skill do you think you can roll that will dictate how well you read it before it gets to you?
Let's say that. Well, I got two things. One, his cybernetic eyes are designed for pinpoint and distance reading, so I could zoom in on it before it actually leaves hands. So I'm going to say, I say perception.
All right, since you have that cybernetic eye, let's just do it against 2 purple, because it's just average.
Okay. 2 purple.
Normally it would be a lot harder.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Let's double check on something here. I can't remember if I.
Since you're new to these sheets, when you go to the skills tab and you see your perception there, all you have to do is up above, there's that section that says dice pool. You just have to mark a 2 in the purple slot, and then go down to your skill that says, what, perception is what you're rolling? Yeah. So then you would just hit the D20 to the right of perception after you've added those 2 purples.
Right. Okay. Not a problem. Okay, cool. And the other part, I get to stabilize. Okay. And that's skill. See, where's my perception, and
Oh my. Unfortunately, she must have been flipping the card way too fast.
Mm-hmm. Alright, slow that thing down.
Yeah, so she's flipping the card way too fast and hands it over to here, just almost autonomously, like, here you go, here.
While these two are doing that, I take it we've met the secretary a bunch of times, probably on a first name basis. So Grad's gonna be like, what's her name?
Charlotte.
So Charlotte, when are we gonna go on that date that you promised me?
She kind of leans over the counter playfully and winks at you, and she goes, "When you stop drinking."
Well,
Big part exasperated.
so in a couple hours, huh?
Tell you what, you come back from this one, and you don't hang out with that Rhodian friend of yours anymore. I will definitely accept your offer. Besides,
It's a deal.
you could pay me for my drinks.
It's a deal. And off we go.
Before you leave, she kind of goes, "Just so you know, Grodd, here was my first choice, but he's married." And she playfully winks at you.
Yeah, everybody likes the aristocrats.
I give her a wink back, and I hand the slip to Vitar so he can decrypt it or whatever. I don't read stuff. People tell me it's all stuff.
Wow. How very Lando of you. So yeah, you get handed the cargo manifest, and it looks like your ship's already been loaded. And it looks like it's 19 crates of asteroid ice that is under deep freeze, and a crate that contains a bacta tank, and it's all headed to Tatooine.
Bacta tank?
Yes.
That's one in addition to the one on the ship already?
Like, this is a bacta tank in a box ready to be shipped out. And that's very, very expensive.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's pretty valuable, right? That's a high-ticket item.
So the manifest doesn't say that there's anything else in the bacta tank, right?
No, it would tell you. Cooper's very open with you. He's literally saying, by the way, you're shipping water, but there's a bacta tank in one of the boxes.
Oh, okay. And does the manifest state the destination?
Tatooine.
Other than Tatooine?
Oh, yes, it does. You are going to Mos Espa.
Oh.
Are you doing that as you read it?
I can't.
Is that your reaction to the?
I can't tell.
When you read the paper.
I can't tell if your cybernetic joints are freaking out or you're like, yeah, well, oil.
Is it not oil? You might occasionally hear a hydraulic whisk from his cybernetics, but it's one of those like not a place I want to go back to.
What about you, Grodd? How do you feel about going back to Tatooine?
You hear a visible, like, grunt from Grodd. It's the planet he escaped was not Tatooine, but it was Tatooine. Yeah, and so it's in the same space, and he's made an enemy of one of the huts there. So you hear a visible groan from Grodd.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Dam Jam is the one who helped you out of that situation, right?
Yes, and yeah,
he's MIA at the moment.
Yep, we were kind of Grodd was kind of hustled off of the planet by his father and grandfather, which gave themselves up to get him and Dam Jam off the planet, and yeah, they were executed by this hut. So
oh my god,
he's still kind of getting hunted by this hut, and when he goes back to hut space, he's got to be noticeably wary.
All right, well, to push things along here, she motions behind her and she says, "Dent, take them up there." And Dent kind of looks down and goes, "Right away, ma'am." And he waddles forward in that protocol droid fashion, and he's like, "Gentlemen, if you would follow me, I will take you straight away to Cooper."
Hey, Dent, I got a new chassis for you. How about an upgrade?
Well, you see, the last time you upgraded me, there was a catastrophic leak in the lobby, and Cooper was none too happy, so I was ordered not to accept any, well, upgrades from you, sir, if you don't mind me saying.
All right, just don't go to sleep.
I don't intend on it, sir. He kind of, this time he motions ahead for Viatar to go first, and then leads you two with Viatar in front of him.
And Grodd says, "Another happy customer, huh, Viatar?"
Complain. It was a perfect frame. I had this nice, sleek Medroid frame for him and everything.
He kind of chimes in, Dent chimes in, and he's like, "Yes, sir, there was nothing wrong with the frame. Besides, I found it quite hilarious when I saw the little R2 units coming out trying to clean up the mess. Ha 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 ha!" And then he just continues shuffling along.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I like how you say that, because Dent didn't used to have a humor chip until a certain someone got a hold of him. And although he is quite polite and very obedient, he now has a very, very odd, cheesy sense of humor.
I don't know anything about it.
All right, so you guys are led down the hallway to a turbo lift, which Dent enters in and kind of motions for everybody to come aboard. And the turbo lift takes you all the way up to Skydeck. Skydeck is the highest point of the entire space station as far as the city part goes. The city is not very tall. This building's maybe 8 stories tall because the atmosphere isn't very high up and there's a lot of speeders flying about, bussing people around. But by being at the highest point, Cooper gets this beautiful view of the planet ring disappearing in the horizon. And on one side, you can kind of see the jungles of the farm plantations. And then on the other side, you see industry. Cooper made it a point that he wasn't in the most comfortable spot in the city. He's right on the borders of agriculture and commerce. Because you cannot have one without the other. And you know this because the type of person that Cooper is he lectures. So sometimes he'll be like, you know why I do this? It's because of this. Because I'm wise and blah, 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 blah. But you guys go up to the Skydeck and the door opens and Dent is like, "We have arrived!" And he motions outside and he's like, "Hey fellas, ever heard why Cooper likes being in this tower?"
Why's that?
Because of the air?
"'Cause he's high all the time!" And he climbs back in the turbo lift and sends himself down.
Oh, the things I could do for that droid. Oh.
I think it's about time for a memory wipe.
I don't know. I kind of like him. He was kind of stuffy before.
I was gonna say, if you do a memory wipe, the next time Vitar sees him, he'll be like, "Hey, you want an upgrade?" He'll be like, "Oh, that's very generous of you, so of course." All right, yeah, but before you see a couple individuals standing at this door, and there's a man pacing back and forth with a thick beard, a thick brown beard, and parted brown hair, and he's dressed in a white shirt, very simple, but it looks like it's thick, a little rugged. He's wearing brown pants, and he's got one shoulder armor. On his hip, he's got a lightsaber, and on his other hip, he has a blaster. And he's just kind of standing there pacing in front of Cooper, visibly upset.
Yeah, so I'm gonna lock eyes onto that blade on his belt and try to. Is there any? Can I see if I know who this is? Is what I'm trying to get at.
What would you like to use? A knowledge?
Or... I'm sorry. And if anybody else has something, while I look at my sheet, y'all go ahead.
Well, would we know, like, what a lightsaber means?
I have a little bit of personal experience. Is why I asked.
I would say you would, Grodd. I almost called you G-Rod. That's stupid. I would say that you would, Grodd, only because being in the thieving world, you know how much they're worth, and judging by this particular lightsaber's condition, maybe this guy knows how much they're worth too.
All right.
I mean, I have education. I don't know if that exactly applies. I don't think there's a specific. I could just do a general intelligence skill, maybe to see if I remembered him. That's what I was getting at, because I don't think there's a specific skill that would apply.
The way that I described him. I hear an echo. The way that I described him, would you say he's from the core worlds, or would you say he's from the underworld, or would you say he's from the outer rim?
I'd say outer rim.
I don't know. I kind of with armor and.
He only has an armored shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe outer rim, because usually you see like half armor out there.
Oh, I was judging him based on his lightsaber. That's what I was gonna try to compare that to his face, and see if I could put that together to someone that I remembered.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Actually, I think you just said it. I think what you're looking for.
That'd be lore.
Yeah, it's a lore check. Because you're trying to remember history.
Yeah, do you want to give me a difficulty for that?
Yeah, difficulty's going to be 3 purple because he hasn't really done anything other than just stand there.
Of course. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and roll that then. Let's see what we got.
No.
Oh Lord. Well, we're getting the failures out of the way, guys. It's okay.
Just as
So,
a side note to
okay.
everybody, after you roll, when you go up to the dice pool, there's a little D20 there and that recycle symbol. Click on the recycle symbol to reset your pool, because if you try to roll again in the future, it'll keep those 3 purples. So, yeah, absolutely. So you don't really recognize anything about him right off the bat. He doesn't look interesting.
Vitar walks up to him and sticks out a hand and is like, hey, welcome to paradise.
He kind of rolls his eyes when you say paradise, and he's like, yeah, name's Kyle. And he kind of shakes your hand.
And after he shakes his hand, he takes his hand and rubs it across the scanner in his other arm. It starts a bioanalysis of him.
Oh. Why don't you give me, that's actually really good. Why don't you give me a knowledge underworld check with a blue die and against 2 purple?
Okay. Add 1.
Given your equipment.
Blue.
Can I assist him with the underworld check?
I would normally say yes if this was a vocal thing, but he's using his computers for it. However,
Okay.
if he fails, I'll let him assist you on an underworld check.
Gotcha.
And he did not fail.
Oh,
I want you to describe to me, holy crap, with advantage like that, give me like one advantageous thing that you may have discovered.
so the analysis was sufficient. I know he's human, and my senses aren't designed for the Jedi midichlorian whatever, but I know I'm able to identify what planet he's from, like most recently come from.
That's good. I will actually also with all of those advantages, I'm actually going to help you out here. You get a message on your little bioscanner that there's currently several bounties out for him, and it has his name on it.
Oh, okay.
His last
Who's
name
that?
Is Katarn.
So I do a little brief analysis and comparison to find out if he's more wanted than I am.
Definitely so.
Priorities, baby.
I would say that based on your analysis, it looks like the original bounties are because he betrayed the Empire. And then some other bounties are because he got in a squabble with Jabba and killed his Rancor. But he's got a long list of stuff under his belt. Different Black Sun people he's pissed off.
He starts looking at the list and he starts whistling. He's like,
Are you being subtle about this at all?
are you kidding? It's one of those things. I'm like, my goodness, check that out.
You immediately see Kyle kind of get nervous, and he puts his hand over his face. And he's like,
And
yeah. Enough of that.
And I'll speak up. You'll have to excuse my friend. He doesn't get out too much.
Who needs to get out? My goodness, he ought to stay in.
Kyle just narrows his eyes at you, and he's like, do you know if Cooper's going to be any longer?
He's Cooper.
So I'll sort of jump in at this point, and I'll say, no, we were sent up here to meet him as well. My name is Here. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. It's strange to see someone so armed in these dark times.
He kind of looks down at his belt, and he's like, what, a blaster pistol and a dead lightsaber? Wouldn't exactly call that armed.
I say, so you're wearing that lightsaber, but it doesn't work?
If it worked, I definitely wouldn't be standing here at a door waiting to talk to a man, I'd probably open it with my brain and then go and convince him to do whatever I need him to do. I wouldn't be playing this whole negotiating diplomat bullshit. Like, you'd see he's really upset.
So after he says that, sort of insulting my profession, I'm gonna just sort of get huffy at his ass and just, well then, sir, and I'll just kind of like start ignoring him. Just,
could you actually, I just want you to roll 1 force die. I know this isn't really mechanically a thing, but go ahead.
Opening up my thing, adding the 1 force die, hit the roll, boom.
Okay. You're definitely sensing something there, like, but all you see is darkness, like he's intentionally masking something.
Yeah, so I'm definitely set sort of ill at ease by this gentleman. At first, I was really intrigued by him, but after this brief interaction, I don't even know what Vitar found out. I mean, that is not even... I have no idea about that, but just from this one little bit, I'm like, nah, I don't know if this cat's for me. So I'm just gonna kind of, I'm not exactly going to be rude about it because I'm a very gentlemanly dude, but I'm gonna just sort of go back to my guys and just chill and wait for Cooper to get here because this dude's shady as hell. Not that these guys aren't shady, but they're my shady, so it's all good.
There you go.
Vitar peeks up at the whole, like, it doesn't work. Like, you got something that's broken?
He kind of looks down and he's like, yeah, I took this from a dead Jedi and it doesn't work, so.
Dead Jedi.
Yeah, that result to my die roll there is really like my you can see if you might be able to see on my face my character's getting pretty upset right now. Like he's flustered. He's getting frustrated with this guy.
It's also kind of weird that he's boldly just wearing it like out in the open.
That's what Grad will point out to him. He'll say, "Sir, people don't usually wear a weapon they don't intend to use, especially on the outside. Why do you carry it like that?"
Excellent. I'm actually going to have you roll a roll. Do you want to charm him or do you want to coerce him?
I don't know. Either or.
Do you have any trade ranks in any of them?
Nah, they're both
kind of weak.
too green. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'll just do coerce. Kind
All right.
of, because I'd imagine Grad be more coercive than charming.
That does make sense.
Against what difficulty?
It's actually against 3 purple, but with here kind of giving him the stink eye and you guys putting him on the spot, I'm going to give you a blue.
Yeah, I'll totally
3
put
purple and a blue.
my presence towards that. for
Oh,
sure.
and you could definitely spend a light side point.
Seeing if we
Actually,
had more than one, I probably would.
boost off of I could pass some boost die off the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Let's
I
let's
think
give you
that,
2 blue instead of the 1 blue. 2 blue, 3 purple.
So I would imagine, yeah, seeing how Victar reacted and how her is kind of like sweating bullets right now. He tries to coerce this stranger. If I can find it here.
Nailed it. All right.
Oh, look at the screen on
You've
that
generated
thread.
some
there we
threat.
go.
Threats,
Some
I
threat.
like that.
Normally, if it's 2 or less, I make you take strain. If it's 3 or more, I like to build off of it. The threat is you done pissed him off. But you did
That's what I'm here
succeed.
for.
And he kind of looks at you and he goes, well, I didn't realize it was everybody's business here is everybody's business. Apparently, I was doing business with the wrong people. Should you know the reason why I wear it is because it's sentimental. And he turns and snaps and lock eyes onto here. And he goes, it was my father's. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll take my business elsewhere. And he storms out.
Wait, I'd like to stop him and like I'll.
Oh, no. He shrugs you off. With that much threat, he is done with you guys. He is not hearing it. He's pissed. He's been waiting for 45 minutes.
I'll try to. I'll use my brawl on him. I'll try to hold him.
I will let you use a charm. I just won't let you just stop him. Yeah.
That's what my main intention was, just try to assuage him and I want to sincerely apologize.
Absolutely.
And I want to use my presence and my charm to, to let him know that, I feel his pain. I want to let him know that I feel that. So I'll say to him, as I go to block him, and then he sort of brushes past me and shoulders by me, just because I'm buff, man. I'm a strong dude. You can't see it really with my robes, but I'm extremely physically built. And when he just shoulders into me, it takes me aback. But
I think given that, it's safe to say that when you do grab his arm, because you're right, you're huge. I'm going to say that when you do grab his arm, your fingers kind of tighten into his, and it makes him stop for a second. He's like, "Oh God!" Like, arm wrestling champ here. And go ahead and make a charm check against 3 purple, because that's how much threat there was.
Okay, cool, yeah. And I'll as I make this roll, I'll say, I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm gonna say, Kyle. Please don't let my friend's brushness deter you from doing business with Cooper. I promise you, he's an honorable man, and me personally, I'm very sorry for your loss. And I'm just gonna look him deep in the eyes there and just let him know, like, man, that's booty. And I'm gonna go ahead and use that destiny point right now, because I feel like this is something we need to keep this on lock right now. I probably won't need it, but just in case, so we make sure we make this. And you said charm, right?
Yep, charm against 3 purple.
Okay, I should be fine.
Ignore the force die. We forgot to reset the pool. No, actually, you pissed him off even more.
Oh Lord, look at that, y'all.
He's like, I'm not mad at your idiot friends. I'm not mad at your idiot friends for ruining business with Cooper. I'm mad at the fact that I came here with urgent matters. Frankly, this isn't even any of your business, okay? Just, people don't keep people waiting. Maybe I'll try again. Who knows? And then he kind of just leaves.
We fucked that up, y'all.
And I have a destiny point now. Yes.
Sorry.
Damn it.
Oh, man. Oh, destiny points. I love it.
We just got in trouble with Cooper, man. I feel like we're finna go get yelled at by the principal.
Well, to be fair...
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, I think Cooper kind of ruined that one on his own. He was in a bad mood before you guys even went up there.
Grad's gonna speak up after he leaves and says, well, that guy acts like he's the only one who's ever lost somebody.
Well, the really awkward thing is he's like, bing, at the turbo lift, and he's just standing there waiting, like, And then the doors open, and Dent is there, and he's like, hello, sir! And Kyle just reaches, grabs his arm, and tosses him out of the turbo lift, goes inside and shuts the door. And Dent kind of falls on his butt outside, and he's like, what a rude asshole!
Vitar's back on his thing, and he's seeing if his most recent hack of the turbo lift. Like, see if I can hold him up a little bit.
Not really. I mean, it would take you a lot longer. This isn't that tall of a building, so if you were to successfully hack it, it would probably already have reached the bottom. But you could lock the blast doors, seal them inside the building, if you had a terminal to plug into.
I'm not sure. How important is this guy, Mr. Cooper? Do anybody know?
I think we should let him go. He seems upset enough that it's not in our best interest. We would not be able to get an amicable deal from him, no matter what, if we were to keep him here by force.
Oh man, but that lightsaber! Oh!
It's without crystals. It has no value.
Oh, it has value.
I can construct 20 of those tonight. Let him go. He's more trouble than he's worth. I'm telling you. Trust me.
I agree.
If you had saw the look in his eyes, you would know.
He did.
He's not a man to be
back.
I could take those out and replace them.
Dent kind of looks around and he's like, "Why are you waiting? Open door policy, remember?"
Oh my goodness. Yes, everybody.
All right. And Grad's gonna open up the door, and walk in, say, "What's up, Cooper?" and probably go over to. I imagine Cooper's got a bar in the office. He's gonna go over and pour himself a drink, like he does, like every time he walks into Cooper's office.
Now, before you guys say anything, actually, I want all of you to describe one thing that you noticed about his office. Grodd just described that there is a bar. And the way that I imagine this bar, since he's kind of ritzy, is that it's got like a mirrored backing, and all of the colorful bottles are sitting on glass shelves that actually have LED lights in the glass, so that each shelf shines blue light, and that the bar itself is of black obsidian top. Very, very nice bar. Big enough for maybe 4 people. What else? How about you, Archie? What do you notice? Name one thing you notice about this office.
I want to notice the positioning of the desk and how striking it is in relation to the giant window in the back behind him that he looks out. Maybe the desk isn't present. Maybe it like sinks into the floor and it's just a chair or like a throne type situation.
Excellent.
Or maybe the desk is holographic.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Oh, we got an echo.
I'm sorry. Let me hit my mic. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So yeah, the desk is a physical desk, but everything on it, as far as like interfaces and stuff, completely holographic. So if he were sitting there, it would look like he'd be typing in midair, pressing on a bunch of holograms. And he's currently not sitting in his throne-like seat in front of his big window. In fact, the window, the drapes are closed so that the room is a little darker. Viatar, what do you notice about one thing that you notice about this room?
Actually, it's not about the room. Generally speaking, when Viatar encounters an individual, his retinal scanners give off like a colored hue, and kind of like a pheromone reader for like a Weequay or something. I can detect kind of not emotional, but general presence, and his color's way off, and I'm like,
Okay, I like that. Well, let's say that he's perturbed. Yeah, you guys walk in, and one of the reasons why the curtains are closed is because he's got a holographic meeting. There are 7 individuals sitting in chairs around him. He's standing in the middle of this room, and beneath his feet is a marble mosaic of the gas giant that is outside. In fact, it's so bright, it is the sun of the planet. Most of the sky is encompassed by this giant gas planet. And he's got this beautiful blue and green gas planet etched into the marble. And all the holograms of the people are sitting in chairs around him as he's standing there going, "Friends, this is not the time nor the place to cancel contracts. We cannot let fear dictate trade. The moment we do that, we've lost to the Empire already." And you guys look at him fondly. He's dark-skinned, black hair that's slicked back with white streaks that go around the sides of his hair above his ears, all the way back to a black ponytail. He's dressed in beautiful blue robes with brown leather underneath, and it almost looks like a proper naval uniform, but it's made out of leather. And he's got different, it almost looks like medals, but what they really are is anytime he's made an alliance or a contract with somebody, he's pinned their business logo to his chest. So he's basically a big giant marketing board. And he's trying to talk to these individuals, and he hears the door open and a bottle clatter at the bar as Grodd just kind of makes himself at home. And he turns around and he goes, "Enough talk about business. Think on it, but trust me, Ending these contracts will be detrimental to your ecosystems, and I will no longer be able to help you. I will not help anyone who won't stay clean, and I will not help anyone who cancels their contract with others on the bias of fearmongering. And he turns the hologram off. And he turns around and
out of the shadows.
he kind of wipes his hair away from his eyes as you guys approach, and he looks at Viatar.
Are they gone?
They're gone. They can't hear us anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
Go ahead, Archie.
oh, are you still going, dog? Vitar?
I know. Vitar's standing back behind. He'll take care of business.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna just place my arm on Cooper's shoulder, just consolingly, and also like I'm gonna just try to. I've been trying to center myself and get my emotions back calm, and I'm gonna just try to give him those positive energies as well. And I'm gonna say to him, Cooper, greetings, my friend. Tensions are surely running high this morning, but we're here. Tell us how we can help you.
Well, there's a reason why I called you here. I need you to go to Tatooine. I need you to make a shipment. I don't need you to ask questions. I need you to meet with somebody on the planet. He'll answer any questions that you may have. The main reason why I called you here, and his eyes kind of do a sideways glance at Grodd, is because Dam Jam's on a negotiation at the wheel. He will not be joining you, and he will not be in time for this. And I know this may go against any kind of contractual agreements I may have made, but this is of the utmost importance. And you and the crew of Star's End are the only people I trust.
You mean Dam Jam's not going to be coming with us?
He nods. Dam Jam will not be accompanying you. He is currently at the wheel, trying to settle a dispute. They needed a good pilot. One that can run.
Oh man, you're going to owe me one for this. And Grodd kind of takes like a top shelf bottle and puts it in his pocket.
Take two, he says, and then just kind of walks away.
Oh. Oh.
I need you to depart as soon as you can. But if you need any acquisitions, I would recommend you pick them up now. Should you make it back and perform the mission as I'd like, I will award all of you 700 credits apiece. That's double the normal payment. And that's not including operational costs. I cover those.
How are we going to know our contact?
Ah, the contact, yes. Once you get to the planet, you will be immediately contacted. He's looking out for your ship. We felt it was safer that way. Instead of you guys reaching out to him, he would reach out to you.
Okay. And, so what, he's going to give us a rendezvous location?
No, you're going to Mos Espa Hangar. Everybody's going there. The pod races are in full swing again. When you arrive, you'll be just another freighter stopping to see the races.
And where are we going? Out of character. Where do you say we're going?
Mos Espa Spaceport in Tatooine.
Okay. And who's in charge of Mos Espa?
No one is. He kind of gives you that knowing look, like, I understand. This is heavy. That's the reason why I'm trusting you lot.
Fear not, dear friend. We shall accomplish the task.
I was just negotiating with the merchants on Tatooine, who are technically in control, but none of them have the balls to do anything about it because they're all scared!
Typical. Maybe,
Do anything about what, my friend?
The city has no government now. They need to take charge. They need to instill some sort of security. Especially now that all of the people have gotten together and got these damn pod races back up. Slavery's increased in the area. All of their focus is on entertainment and not on the sustainability of their own goddamn planet. It just pisses me off.
Well, if they're not going to do it, perhaps we can make it a profitable business for ourselves.
That's why I need you to take the water there.
Very well, sir. It shall be done.
It's best us do it before a hut does.
Right. And speaking of which, I'm sure you've looked at the cargo manifest.
Yep.
Someone important needs that back to tank. My informant will tell you where to deliver it.
Alright.
Fellas, back to tanks are fragile.
Are we to assume that this is separate from the water shipment?
Oh, it's in amongst the water shipment. But
it's to be delivered separately.
Exactly. The water shipment's being split into 7 different deliveries. In the back to tank, and several water containers are going to one location.
So I take it we go with the back to tank.
You go with the back to tank, exactly, because that's where you'll get the next step.
All right, sir. Very well.
Questions, concerns, or comments?
Yeah. Even in the condition that
Good. I'm glad. He cuts you off. He's so used to Viatar, like, having something to say. He's just like, let it be done. And he kind of looks at here and he goes, and may the force be with you.
I'm going to look at him and I'm going to say, speaking of which, I hate to inform you, I believe you missed a meeting previously. He seemed to storm off in quite a bit of anger. You might want to check after it.
Oh?
Kyle Catan, I think was his name. Kyle?
His face goes gray. Like, just all the color gets flushed.
And Grad will speak up and say, yeah, he was crying about his dead dad.
I'm gonna look at you like super pissed off, like you better shut up right now. I'm gonna come over there and make
I love
out with you.
I love how you say that when you guys were the ones that prodded that out of him. Like, oh my god, that's funny. So, I think this is actually a good spot for our first break. We're going to be going 4 hours, but it is thunderstormy, hot, and humid here, and I need to step out for some fresh air. So let's stop for our first break, refuel up. Any questions, comments, concerns before we go?
No, man, it's good. Thanks, man.
Yep, good.
All right, on part 2, we're going to take off right in the hangar. Thank you very much, and we will be back.